let's open some book mail together. I'm honestly so excited for both of these packages. I think I know what they are and I've been waiting for them. Fantasy author here in Australia reached out to me recently and asked if she could send me her book, and of course I said yes. I am always open to supporting Australian authors and fantasy authors at that. And this is the little package. So we've got a little bag, a note, bookmark type situation, and the beautiful, beautiful book. Honestly, obsessed with this cover. This is an enemies to lovers fantasy romance. We've got Faye in it. So honestly, it's my perfect cup of tea. I cannot wait to read this. So thank you so much, Amanda, for reaching out to me and sending me this. She also included a Jasper replica stone because Amanda is also an archaeologist, which you're honestly doing it all. That's so cool. Next box, I believe, is from Books. When I tell you I have been anticipating this release for the longest time. If you know me, you know I'm obsessed with Binding 13 and Keeping 13. So when they reached out to me and said they would like to send next books in the Boys of Tottenham series, I am honestly so excited. This is Saving 6 and Redeeming 6 by Chloe Walsh. These are the next 2 books in the Boys of Tottenham series, and we are following Joey this time. I am honestly so excited to read Joey's story. I have heard incredible things about it. So thank you so much, Books, for sending me these.
Part 2 of BookTok books that I am absolutely going to read. Starting off strong with the entire Sapphic trifecta. This one I was actually very excited for on release. I cannot believe I still haven't read it. But yeah, all 3 of these are gonna happen. N.K. Jemisin's the 5th season. I think all 3 of these won the Hugo Award, which made it like the first or one of the only books where all 3 in a trilogy won back to back. And The City We Became was absolutely bonkers, so I'm really curious to see what she does with something like more fantasy-esque like this. The Mirror Visitor Quartet. Yes, I did buy the books before reading them, and yes, I am missing book 2. They did not have it when I bought these. I can't remember what it was that drew me to these, because I've had them for quite some time now, but they are going to be a buddy read with a couple friends of mine. So yeah, these are absolutely happening. So there it is, switching it up a little bit. If you do want to know the BookTok books that I refuse to read, let me know, because I have them. Okay, welcome to the third and final part of picking a favorite book off of each of my bookshelves, except that I have 27 of the shelves to pick from. Here at the top, it's all graphic novels and art books. I think my contenders here are Lore Olympus, All-Star Batman and Robin, and Hush. And I think, even though it's the hardest to reach, so I have to get the latter, it's gonna be Hush. If you want to read a Batman comic and you don't know where to start, just read Hush. It's very, very good. Please do it. Alright, this shelf is another easy one. It is going to be Gallant by V.E. Schwab. Another mini shelf. This one's a little bit harder, but I think I'm gonna go with We Hunt the Flame. I believe this was a 4.5. Alright, I have multiple 5 stars on this shelf. Juniper and Thorn, Little Thieves, Priory of the Orange Tree, obviously some good 4.5s as well. But if you know me, you know it has to be Priory. It has to be. I've somehow ended up with a whole Sarah J. Maas shelf simply because she has that many books, but that's another easy one. It is going to be the first Crescent City book. All right, of this collection, it is going to be Half-Blood Prince. Nothing on this shelf goes together. This shelf makes no fucking sense, but my contenders here are basically probably Realmbreaker or The Final Empire, or it could be Girl Serpent. I think I am going to go, but shit. I don't feel super great about this because the way that he writes women in this particular book was rough, but I think it's gonna win just for the magic system. Look, I don't I don't want to talk about this shelf. I don't want to talk about it, but I'm just gonna... It's fine. We're gonna pick this one. Alright, and so for the third part, we had Hush, Priory of the Orange Tree, Crescent City, The Final Empire, We Hunt the Flame, Gallant, Eclipse, and Half-Blood Prince. And so all together... So after 3 videos, this is what I've ended up with as my favorites in each of my individual shelves. That took a lot longer than I thought it would.
First book I chose you because I feel like it was the most likely that you didn't have.
Okay.
And it's a fantasy romance that I absolutely love, and the cover is stunning.
Okay, I love the cover.
Daughter of Smoke and Bone.
I trust your fantasy recommendations.
I have 2 more because you might have both of these, so I'm just going to do them at the same time.
Okay.
So these Hollow Vows.
I've heard amazing things about that.
Very like Sarah J. Maas kind of fantasy romance vibes. And then Serpent and Dove are like classic fantasy
I'm gonna have to buy all 3, like literally. I'm interested in all of them.
I wasn't sure if you had this one, so I was like, I'm gonna get another.
Okay, is that the first in the series?
Yes, okay, seriously.
I guess I'm buying 3 books. Do I buy 3 or do I pick 1? Have you read all of this?
Yeah. I feel like you would probably like one of those most.
Okay.
Because they're very heavy on the romance and like really, really easy to read.
Yep. So in a similar vein of the like BookTok books that you literally could not pay me to read, which is a video I would love to make because I have so many, here are BookTok books that I am absolutely going to read. The first is The Poppy War. Yes, I did buy all 3 of these before starting it because I know they're going to be good, especially now that I've read Babel. These are going to be amazing. I'm actually really excited for this on another level because I've recently come to some conclusions about grimdark fantasy as a genre, and I feel like this is going to confirm those conclusions that I've reached, and so I'm happy to be proven right. For a complete tonal shift, all of Emily Henry's books. I haven't read any of them, and I feel like the only reason I haven't started at this point is because I don't know which one to start with. I feel like I want to read Book Lovers the most, but I also feel like that might be the best, so I should save it for last. If you have a preference on what order I should read these in, please let me know. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I don't know that this is technically a BookTok book, but I specifically bought it because of hearing about it on BookTok, so I'm counting it. Also, I set this to 1 minute, so I'm gonna do a part 2.
My most read genre is probably Enemies to Lovers fantasy romance. Can't go past it. It hits every time. It's always entertaining. It always just makes me swoon. So here are some of my top Enemies to Lovers fantasy romance recs for you. Starting out with one of my absolute favorites, and if you've been on my account at all, you've probably seen me talk about it, but Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I feel like this is such an underappreciated fantasy romance. Although the romance is very much a subplot, it is so good that you're just so invested in it the entire time. It is real enemies to lovers. It's full of wit, full of action, full of banter. I absolutely love it. The world that this is created in is just so amazing as well. It is multiple POVs, so we're following both characters. Cavi is like this renowned thief, and Jace is learning how to rule his lands after his father's passing. It is just so good, and I highly recommend. One of my top reads of the year. If you liked Once Upon a Broken Heart and you like a good fairy tale but slow burn enemies to lovers romance, the Mirror Visitor series by Christelle Debeau. This is actually a series that's been translated from French and it is outstanding. I love this series and I think it deserves so much more hype. The world that she creates is just so magical and unique. There are like literally floating islands, and our main protagonist can travel through mirrors, and when she touches historical objects, she knows about their past and what they've seen, basically. It is also a forced proximity, so she is forced to marry this kind of powerful clan leader. And I tell you, this is a strong slow burn. I mean, it goes over multiple books. I absolutely love it. As I said, if you loved Once Upon a Broken Heart, if you love a wistful fairy tale vibes, you will absolutely love this. Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I feel
So here's a fun little rule of thumb, little words to live by. If you're ever talking about a group of people, say, I don't know, lesbians, maybe, for example, and you have to follow the phrase, I don't have anything against them, with, but, you probably have something against them. I, for one, can't wait to read Legends, Lattes, and Lesbians by Travis Baldree. And if you would also like to read Legends, Lattes, and Lesbians, you can find it on Audible right now, or you can pre-order your physical copy. It's being re-released in November. Happy reading. And here's the heads up I will give is that I won't ever cater my content to lesbophobes, so if you need a warning that there are lesbians in a book, that's on you. That's on you. I will recommend a book because it has lesbians in it. I will not warn you that they're in it.
these are some fantasy books I would absolutely love to read by the end of 2023. I don't know if that will realistically happen. Quite a few of these books on here I am very intimidated and scared to read. Starting out with like a fantasy BookTok classic, and that is Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I have been putting off this book for such a long time, mainly because of its size, and I am so scared that I'm not going to enjoy it and it's going to be a drag to get through. However, I've seen so many amazing reviews on this though. A big part of me does feel like I'll enjoy this, and I've heard the world building is absolutely incredible. If you were game enough to read this, let me know what you thought of it. Another extremely popular book here on BookTok, and that is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. Obviously, this has been popular on BookTok for such a long time now, but it has been so hard to get the physical copy in Australia, and I finally found it the other week, so I am so excited to finally immerse myself in this world, and I believe the second book in this duology just came out, so I can just go straight onto it. However, I'm a little bit scared that I'm not going to love it as much as everyone else does, but I have heard that this is a fantasy romance, and I feel like it's pretty hard for me not to love a good fantasy romance. And apparently it also has really unique magic system, and I'm honestly just really craving to immerse myself in a new fantasy world that is completely foreign to me. I love the feeling of opening a book and beginning to understand new characters, a new world, new magic. It's the best feeling. I read Divine Rivals earlier this year and absolutely loved it, so I'm starting to work my way through Rebecca Ross's backlog with A River Enchanted. Again, I've had mixed reviews on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to love it. I love Rebecca Ross's writing. I think it is so lyrical and so immersive, and I love the way she creates characters and gives depth to them, and I feel like there's so much chemistry between characters, so I cannot wait to read this, and this is definitely one I'm going to be annotating, and I think this will be getting read pretty damn soon. I'm very excited about it. I was lucky enough to get sent an ARC by HarperCollins, and this is Dragon Rider by Taran Matharu. I believe that's how you say it, I'm not entirely sure. But this is a dragon fantasy romance, and who doesn't love a dragon fantasy romance? Also, this cover is absolutely stunning. So this instantly just went really high up on my TBR. I'm so excited to read this. Again, immerse myself in a new world, and I believe this is the first in a new series. So super grateful and excited to be able to read this. Last but not least, I believe this is more of a dark academia fantasy, but that is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. If you know me, you know that Leigh Bardugo is one of my favourite authors. I have read the entire Grishaverse. I love her writing. However, this is a dark academia fantasy, and I'm not entirely familiar with those, and I've heard mixed reviews about it. I do feel like I'm going to love it, but I'm a little bit hesitant to go into it, and that's why I've been putting it off for a while. So let me know your thoughts on this, and hopefully I'll get some of these read before the end of the year.